We tried this Vatic Pro
I want to do that.
Prism.
I got it, okay. Here we go.
I'm just brainstorming.
All right, you brainstorm. You brainstorm silently. All right, the Vatic Pro Prism. Is it the best paddle under $100? It just might be. All right, so the Vatic Pro Prism, it came on the market. It is a non-thorough-formed carbon face paddle made by the company Vatic. They're a newer company. I think they went into the market to try to see if they can make a really great paddle under $100. And what I can tell you right off the bat is Caden and I both tried it out, and I'll swing it to Caden, but my initial thoughts is this is a really, really great feeling paddle. Thoughts, Caden?
Yeah, I personally think this is the best paddle on the market that is under $100. In my terms, I would call it the best bone for your buck. Paddle that has...
Wait, really quick.
I know.
Wait, is that a thing? Bone for your buck?
Best bone for your buck.
Bang for your buck.
No, I say bone for your buck.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
Personally, Jordan, I think we have found the best paddle on the market for under $100. I've only been using this paddle for a week, and I genuinely think this is the best bone for your buck on the market, hands down, no questions.
In both of our testings, we have tested both the Prism Flash and also the Prism V7. Now, the differences between these, to me, is going to be kind of like the pop and the softness and the control. So the V7, to my knowledge and from my testing, is a little bit poppier, a little bit stiffer. And then this Prism Flash is a lot, a lot more cushionier and also just easy on the resets and hands. Kind of closer to this SOK Halo that I use, but what do you think about the difference between the Flash and the V7?
I think I do prefer this Flash a little bit more, but when I tested the V7, off the bat, it was a little bit more solid at the top of the paddle. You did find that cushion a little bit in the middle of the paddle, but it just felt a little bit more solid, a little bit stronger, a little bit more stiff. But that also being said, you have two different shapes here. So the V7 is gonna be your more standard rectangular longer shape. This is gonna be kind of your doubles and singles paddle. I would say the Flash you can also use for singles, but is gonna be more your dominant doubles paddle. Now for me, before I signed with Selkirk, I actually was using a Vatic Pro, and personally, the Flash was my preference. So if you ask me, Jordan, I think I would have to use this Flash.
Yep, just like Caden said, the Flash Prism is going to be, I would say, yeah, like really close to the Hyperion shape.
Right.
The old Ben Johns paddle. And then this is going to be that standard shape, probably the shape of the Perseus.
Yep.
The new one like that. Again, for, when comparing both of them, I also enjoyed the Flash a lot better. So like we said, this is actually a non-thorough formed paddle, but to me, it really doesn't matter because this paddle feels really, really good. It has pretty good pop and great control. And where I found this paddle thrive was dinks and resets, and it had a great spin and power, like I said. So it's a great all-around paddle, I think. And for those of you who are trying to save some money and don't want to invest in a paddle that's really expensive, 100, 200 or more dollars. This is a great price point. Just under $100. Check out the description below if you want to support our channel in this review. We can actually give you $10 off with our discount code below.
One thing I really love is actually the shape and the balance of the paddle. So where I was using the V7, the V7 compared to the Flash, this one just felt a little bit heavier in my hands. It felt a little bit harder to maneuver around, whereas the Flash felt like a flash. It was in and it was out, and it was quick around left and right. And so personally, The softness was definitely softer than this, and I am personally a poppier type of paddle player. But the V7 compared to the Flash just felt way more balanced and way quicker in my hands, which is why I think I favor more this paddle than the V7.
Yeah, so currently, as you may know, I'm using the Selkirk Halo SLK and the Max 16 millimeter. And yeah, it's definitely, this is probably a little bit poppier, a little bit more power, but it also has that feel and that touch. That's why I really enjoyed it. Again, for serves and drives, I think that this created really great spin as well. I don't think you can go wrong. Who would you recommend this paddle to?
I would recommend this paddle to almost everybody. I personally think this would be a great paddle for you if you're starting out and new to pickleball. Like I said, it has a really great feel and really great power. And one thing you mentioned with your Halo is the Halo is there's a softer, which is a 16 millimeter, and there's a more power version, which is the 13 millimeter. And personally, if you ask me, I think there's more power and control in this 16 millimeter Flash than there is in both the control and the power lines of the Halo. But I've seen lower level players use it, and I've seen pros use it. So I think it's just an all around great paddle for anybody and everybody.
Yeah, for my recommendation, actually, I'm right there with you, Caden. Caden and I coach full time, and we work with a lot of different players. I think it comes in at a really light stock weight, which is really great because you can build it up and add more weight on it. So, you know, if you're a stronger player or you want to, you know, get more spin and more power on your paddle. But this paddle comes in fairly light, and when it comes to control, which is the biggest thing when I'm working with beginners and also intermediate players, this does not lack control at all. So again, just like Caden, I would recommend this to almost anyone, especially beginners, intermediates, even all the way to really high levels. If you really want something with a ton of power, then this is not gonna be it, right? There's other Thoroform carbon paddles out there that have more spin and more power, but this lands somewhere in between that control and power, which is really great. All right, so those are our thoughts. Again, this is the Vatic Pro Prism. There's two versions. There's the Prism Flash and then the Prism V7. Go check them both out. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. Go in the description below if you want $10 off on this paddle. It helps support this channel, these reviews, and what we do, everything here at Briones Pickleball. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next review.
Best bone for your buck. I would call it the best bone for your buck. This paddle is the best bone for your buck.